Just trying to be a better person every day.
Yeah, right, man. That's how I look at it, man. I want to empower everybody just every day.
You can't be around when you mad. You know how you want to be mad?
Right.
And he come around and he be like,
too much positive energy.
grass is green today.
I'm like that.
Are you mad?
How dare you point that out, nigga? What's wrong with you?
Point that out.
I'm like that chick off of Kevin Hart when he come home after a bad day. Like, guess who's home? You're home, girl. That's me. Just like, I'm always happy.
You gonna sit your ass down?
Right.
Absolutely.
Man. So, without further ado, man, let's kind of get into it and break the ice. So, we was thinking about a topic for tonight, right? Because everybody kept asking me, like, I get inboxes like, bro, what's the topic for tonight? Because I didn't put on the flyer.
Right.
I'm like, shit, hell if I know. I really want to think about the topic.
Right.
But then,
Break down this word topic, the T.
Well, no. So things started happening in life. My grandmother had an accident, and it just kind of like, you know your grandparents aren't going to be here forever, and things like that. But you don't want to ever have to kind of face that. You don't ever want to have to like really like just consciously have to think about anything of that nature. So like it puts me into a frame of mind where it's just like just to appreciate the people, in your life while they're in your life, and just living every day to the fullest. So I know I got into that rut of life where life starts taking over. It does that thing that life does, and I'll talk to my dad. Hey, while you talk to mama, oh man, I'm gonna call her tomorrow. We always get to that call you tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I really like, taking the time, like how much effort does it really take just to say, you know what, let me stop my busy ass day and, get my grandmother a call.
Yeah.
Right.
So, it's just a lot of self-discovery and just, really just being appreciative of the people that I have in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like we kind of keep going back to this, I'm appreciative of y'all, you know what I'm saying? Appreciative of everybody that comes and check us out.
Absolutely.
Because, it's like, you don't have to.
Right.
Especially in this day and age, man, it's hard to find good people.
Yeah.
So,
I had a paradigm shift on that note on my birthday, man. I had my birthday party here on Wednesday, wind down show. And I had invited so many people, man, like, and I'm more like the main people that show, like my dad and stuff like that, they ain't show. And I found myself like right here off this corner, I was like soaking, like, dang, man, the people I really wanted to be here ain't here. But then I realized that I started neglecting the people that was here. You know what I mean? I just embraced that mindset forever. You know what I mean? Like if it's just like me and Ink here right now, in this moment, I feel like the Most High just building us in that moment, man. So I don't even care about how many people in the room. I just make sure that people that is in the room, I try to, man, make you really feel appreciated, man. And just use that same energy that we use to be mad to really like, show that gratitude, man. Because it is everything. Ain't nobody gotta be here nowhere. What you do, so thank you.
You could be anywhere in the world.
But you're
right here with us.
Right. I just felt like that type of moment. I just left my dad. He in an old school band. He old school players. He get mad because I always introduce him as the Ohio players. They the old school players. That's like they rival, I guess. So then I asked my dad. I try to like bless my dad to give me a gig. My dad tried to charge me like $900. I'm like, bro. He's like, we gonna blow any day now, so you better go ahead. I've been saying that since I was a kid, man. It's crazy as hell. Just like a few minutes ago, that's why I was late. We was arguing about $900, Dad. I was gonna like buy you some Mad Dog or something. You and your crew. Let you come out and go crazy on the drums. Like, you didn't charge me $900, man.
Family.
Right, he was serious. Like, look me dead in my eyes. Like, I'm thinking about the laugh.
And send you a writer.
Right. He sent me an email right there in that moment. Like, my dude sent me an email right in front of me. They had their headshots on there. Oh man.
Nice, man. So go on. My bad, I'm sorry. So back on topic. So Brickhouse Realty, man. I like what they actually have going on. I kind of tuned into her live today, just to, how we kind of do a little bit of research to see exactly that. Wes has got off from work. If you've never been here before, you don't understand what this moment is about. But if you have, you know that at 10 o'clock Wes gets off.
So don't go live until after 10. My supervisor be on my live. Supposed to be there right now, but I love y'all so much.
There you
Take
go.
a cut.
So the dope thing that they bring to the table is actually like there are a couple in this generation who are working together to help increase the finances of the home. And it's funny because Gucci was on, he did an interview and they was asking him about being married and, you know, why he actually chose to get married and things like that. And he's like, you know, if I was, because we have money, you know what I mean? Like, and it brought up a good point. He's like, yo, if we weren't financially stable or financially in a good spot, then I wouldn't be married. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Why should we be married and struggle? Like, we could just go together and be broke. You know what I mean? So, you know, that puts you into that frame of mind where it's like, all right, well, as you come across people in your life, especially if you're lucky enough to find, you know, a mate, and it's like, yo, like, that takes that hustle to a whole nother level.
Absolutely.
So, let's bring them to the stage, man. Mark and Andrea of Brickhouse Realty. This is where y'all theme music would play.
Yeah.
So, you know, we gonna pipe that in. Hey, Wes. All right. So we want to welcome y'all. How y'all doing? Find a chair wherever y'all can. So, one more round of applause for Mark and Andrea. All right, guys. So, let's take a second to have you guys introduce yourselves and tell the people, you know, exactly like what it is you guys do.
I'm Andrea Wilson, and this is my husband, Mark Wilson, and we're the owners of Brickhouse Realty. We are a full-service real estate brokerage working with buyers, sellers, and investors. We are looking for more agents in the area, and well, I'll let you just.
Left off.
Like she was running with it.
Finish your sentence, and I'll get it from there.
I was going to introduce you for you.
Introduce me for me.
That's what wives do.
That's the power of having a loving
Right.
wife.
How is this is my
Like she
husband.
said, we own a full service real estate brokerage. We do a lot of our own real estate investing as well. We handle every portion of that from the investing to construction. We own a construction company. She always fails to mention that. So we own a construction company as well, but we handle every aspect of real estate. Anything you can think of that's involved in real estate, whether it's building new construction, buying and selling, dealing with buyers, dealing with sellers, investors, all of that, we do it all.
Nice, man, nice. How long have you guys been doing this?
Well, I've been licensed for 10 years, so probably before that we've been dealing in real estate for about 15 years now.
And who, like, so did you meet him already doing this, or y'all got together and y'all said, hey, let's be realtors? Like, what happened?
Well,
We need that first date story,
we
you know what I
need a
mean?
story. We need to break down. Like, how did it become a relationship in a business?
well, we didn't get started in the business. Actually, my background is accounting. That's what my degree is for a number of years. We knew upon meeting each other that we always wanted to invest in real estate, and that's where our passion really was. For me, it became a point in time where I wasn't happy working in the accounting world in corporate America, and just reached the point where I felt like I needed to make a change. And I decided to go to real estate school and get my real estate license, and literally took the classes. He knew I was taking the classes, passed my test, went to work the next day. I quit.
Nice.
Came home, told him I quit my job. And he was
Wait,
like,
hold on, let's stop you right here. Okay, so how'd that conversation go?
It wasn't good.
You did what? You did
Like we talked about the licensing and getting into real estate and all of that, and it wasn't playing like that. So, like she said, she came home, I quit, Wasn't a good conversation.
Gotcha. Wait, we didn't say today.
Yeah, but she was ready to nose that.
No 2-week notice. I'm done. Like,
Oh, so it was definitely no going
well,
back.
I felt like, okay, you know, I guess I watched too much TV, and I felt like, okay, I'm gonna get my license, and all my friends are going to, you know,
Buy
give me
houses.
business, and they're gonna buy houses, and life is gonna be great. Not at all.
Gotcha. Now back to you.
No, I turned into a little bit of Ike Turner at that point.
We can't tell them stories, man. There ain't no statute of limitations. All right, so exactly.
It was cool. I mean, I backed her and I said I got to support her in what she wanted to do. She's always been supportive of me, but before that, I was always an entrepreneur. I owned an auto detail shop, a tow truck company, and a used car buy here, pay here lot.
Okay.
So you know,
You got any of those like still available? I'm asking for a friend.
we let all of that go, and all we do is real estate for the most part now.
Okay.
So she was always supportive in the businesses that I had and those type of things, and you know, she always supported me, so I knew I had to be supportive of her. And we initially set a time frame. You know, once she came home and said she quit, and I said, okay, you know, we'll give you this time frame. We'll see how it goes,
Okay.
and then we'll, you know, establish something from there. Or we either pull the plug.
Gotcha. So let's take it step by step.
Got a little feedback. Hold on.
Okay. So step by step, what advice would you give someone at that beginning stage? You're in a relationship. You guys had a little powwow, like, yo, this is our game plan going into this. Not necessarily the quitting part off rip, but like that beginning stage of planning. You know what I'm saying? If you guys had like an ideal situation to say, all right, well,
We didn't have a new relationship at this time. It wasn't new. Together probably like about 6 years at the time or whatever.
Okay.
When all of this started, so it wasn't like.
So you already had a
Oh, let's
foundation.
take it back.
Yeah, you had a
Hold on,
foundation.
wait. We gotta go a little bit farther back.
Because we lost, because I thought it was like the beginning, like y'all met at real estate school,
Okay,
like
so-
y'all was doing the paper, she was copying, and
Right.
You're right. She was
let's
copying.
take it.
you like how I speak that,
Right.
got your back.
Right. So, okay, when you guys first got together, like, what made y'all be like, okay, this is gonna be a relationship for me. I know for sure this is gonna be my business partner as well. Like, did that come in your head at the beginning of your relationship, or y'all was just like kind of going with the flow?
So let me say this. First, we've been together for 17 years.
Oh, nice.
Jesus.
All right. I can't get past 17 days. Jesus Christ, all
The
right.
biggest thing before anything, it has to be your friend. You have to establish that friendship first, establish that trust amongst each other. And at the end of the day, he knows that I have his back 1,000%, just like I know he has my back. So even when he had his businesses prior to real estate, he knew like if it was crunch time for him, then that meant it was crunch time for me, and I would do anything that he needed me to do, to support his business.
Okay.
And I knew that if I needed anything or needed his support, he was there for me. But we established that that friendship up front.
Mm-hmm.
And so we gained that respect of each other. A lot of times people get into relationships and they don't build that foundation up front, and they're just ready to, let's get married, let's do that, let's have kids, or they do it backward or whatever it is. And so they never establish that friendship to know, like, you know what, at the end of the day, I don't even like this person, because that's what it turns into. You just tolerate the situation or the relationship that you're in.
Got you.
Absolutely.
And go ahead, son.
So when you guys met, you were still in school, and did you already have your businesses already? Because like that counts, when you're going into these relationships and you meet someone, normally you kind of start from rock bottom when you're real young, and then you kind of get into like the dating. So is it a difference from dating before in your past when you kind of was starting school and you didn't have your businesses and you were trying to make relationships work? Like, how did that change?
So when I met her, I had the auto detail shop. The tow truck company and the used car lot kind of came while I knew her already.
Okay.
She was already doing accounting, so she didn't start real estate school or any of that. So I already had one existing business, and like she said, we really just built a friendship first. Dated, but I'm more of a standoffish type of person, so I took it more slow, and she was patient. She was patient.
Wait a minute.
All right, so
Wait a minute.
brother, you wasn't even supposed to bring that. Listen, you gotta look for the signs. You looking down, brother.
Let me tell you. So, I do accounting. I'm an accountant. This is what I do. So early on, like I am a person that I want to help you. This is my man. Let me help you. And now that I think about it, he was kind of like, no. It was like, no. He didn't want the help that I was offering at the time. He was kind of, and I wasn't trying to take over his business, but I wanted to help. I felt there was room for improvement.
He was being an alpha male. That's what it was. He was being an alpha male, and a lot of men are like that. Like you get with them.
Don't touch
and we are. And this is the thing I always tell people. I always give other women advice and men. To know a woman is in you, she's going to support you. And she already had intentions before y'all planned on being together. She was like, "This is going to be my man. I'm going to support you. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I got your back." When you have a woman that say, "I got your back, I got your back, I got your back," pay attention to them signs, because she already got in her head her wedding dress, her ring, baby. She done planned it. So, a lot of men being misconstrued, they be like kind of standoffish, like, I don't know if she really like me, but I'll go along with this. No, if she's got plans, this is real.
She trying to make what you got better.
She trying to make what you got better. And did you get that though? Like, when did you was like, okay, this is right. This the one.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. I never really said this publicly. I didn't tell her this till about 5 years ago. No, really. I didn't tell her this till about 5 years ago. Never happened to me in my life. I don't know how it happened. So when we met, she walked in, and I don't know what crazy thought I was having, but I swear, she walked in and I had like a little revelation. I said, "That's my baby mama right there." I didn't say wife. I didn't know all that stuff. Okay. But I swear, I never told this publicly before. But I actually, it's like I don't know what happened, but I did. Like seriously.
Nice.
And it wasn't that I said,
was it like the spotlight moment where it was like everybody just disappeared?
No. It's just something happened, and I'm like, wow. And then I caught myself like, what did you just say? So mind you, I had no kids, nothing. Never felt that way or said that about another woman before. But it just happened, and
See, I feel that way like twice a week.
So
it was like, oh man,
so it
you got a man, yeah. God damn it.
I ain't go as far to say my wife or something like that, but and then it's kind of funny how we met. She was rude, but she said I was rude.
What? No, I can't hold this back. You need to see. We need to know.
I don't believe that I was rude. I think he
was. We'll let them judge.
We are being honest here tonight now.
All right,
okay, you're on the Convo. Leaving with a rule.
We met at a friend of mine, a mutual friend actually, back in the day, Pager Shop. That's how long ago it was.
Nice.
So we had a Pager Shop, and I never go up there. I'm back there, so that's why she didn't, know me for being up there. I never saw her before. So I'm sitting behind the counter, and for whatever reason on a random Saturday, and I'm up there, never up there. And it's like a computer right here, a desktop, and it might be about this much clearance to get to the computer. And I'm sitting there in the chair. She walks behind the counter, didn't speak, didn't say nothing, squeezed right past me and got right on the computer right here.
Oh, she did that on purpose.
So look, butt right here in my face and everything, right? So she didn't say excuse me, so I didn't, but her version is, I say she was rude for all of that. Mm-hmm. Her version is, I was rude because I didn't give her the chair.
I feel like as a man and a woman walks up, you should say, "Would you like this chair?" and get up and give me the chair. I agree with her.
No, because if I've been working all day, I might be tired too.
But look, mind you, I didn't know she was going for the computer. It was like literally this much room. She probably stepped on my foot. I don't remember. But,
that sounds about accurate though.
Exactly.
I do believe that happened.
Didn't say I need to use the computer, or you mind if I get on the computer or whatever. She would have said I would have got up, gave her the chair. So she was rude.
No, you were rude. A lady walked in, you should get up and offer the chair.
Absolutely.
On point.
We are no
I keep hearing a lot of ladies say that.
I thought two rude people get together then.
I keep hearing a lot of ladies. So fellas, was I rude?
No, I don't think you were rude at all. I don't really believe that you were rude.
Thank you.
You was making sure you wasn't getting robbed.
Exactly.
Right.
You know what I mean? You ain't no hurt. You know what I mean? She watching the investment.
He
Exactly.
wasn't rude, he just wasn't polite.
Wow.
Okay,
What do you think it was? That she was polite by not saying excuse me, or
Exactly.
Well, first
Hey,
of
I
all,
want you to grab
you shouldn't. Why were you even sitting there?
and she said, "Why were you even there?"
Because my friend business is my business. You know what I mean?
But she thought she was entitled. She was entitled to be there over me because she ain't never seen me there before. She said,
Man, ain't that crazy how that works out?
"Right."
Okay, let's go. We got to the first meeting. Now, when did you guys say, this is it, this is who I want to be with, this is who I want to marry? Like, when did that come about?
For her, that same day.
Ah.
There you
No,
go.
that's what I'm talking about, man.
But for me,
She ain't say that.
Already.
she'll tell you.
Hey, in her mind, she was like, I need to get his attention.
Yeah.
So let me go step on his foot and stand right in front of
I
him.
knew it was. I knew it was.
Well, I will say this. So, this probably was like maybe like a couple years prior to meeting him. A picture was given to me by this same mutual friend. I happened to go through some pictures. Like, oh,
Premeditated.
I do believe so. It's all right.
It sounded like it might have been premeditated.
See what I'm saying?
Hold on.
Hey, that might be a good friend though. Your boy was like, yo, like, Dre keep coming in here, bro. Like, you should go ahead and do that.
so I did see
She
him
paired Bill on the foot.
on this picture. Probably maybe like 2 years before even meeting him. I was like, oh, who is this? And I inquired about him, but never saw him or never met him.
Look at God.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Look at it. He like, yeah, that's how she wanted to meet me, man.
She
Like,
did. She did.
But when I saw him at the pager store, I didn't put two and two together at that time to know, like, oh, this is him. He's the one. So that's what you say.
Yeah, I knew you knew that.
Exactly. It's all right. She can cover it up however she needs to. Now, you can feel free to give your rebuttal to his story if you would like to, but I do believe that, I'm pretty confident that's how it played out.
Okay, so what is some advice that you can give to the single people that are looking to become in a relationship, and especially people that want to get married? And advice that other couples, they might be married and they don't have businesses together because they don't know how to communicate on that level.
Definitely owning a business and working together, day in and day out, it's challenging. You definitely have to have a strong foundation up front before you really jump into business, because if you own your own business, there's going to be low points, and you have to be able to make it through those low points of, where, you're not making that much money, or, you're only have enough money to cover bills, and a lot of relationships aren't strong enough. They haven't built that foundation to stand the test.
To weather the storm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So now, let's talk a little bit more about the business. All right. I tuned into your live earlier, and can you explain to the people exactly like the programs that you have set up and what it is, like go just a little bit more in depth into what it is you're doing as far as like business wise?
And
like my man said, are we talking about money?
Hold on, this ain't the real estate.
You might have the right class.
We absolutely work with traditional buyers and sellers, but our passion is really investing in real estate and teaching other people how to invest in real estate. Over the years, we worked with a number of investors, but most of our investors that we actually work with are from places like China, Israel, Australia, and from different parts of the country who don't even care about our communities. Really, at the end of the day, they are just buying up properties, and they honestly, a lot of times, they think that we will live in any condition of these properties. And we spend a lot of time educating these owners and saying, no, you need to do these repairs and you need to do these things to the properties. And but what's sad to us is that the very people, we all live in these communities, we're not investing in them. We're not buying these properties. We're not being taught how to buy these properties, and we don't know how to get the funding for, these properties. And there's so much that's available out there to everyone.
Absolutely.
So, what advice would you give a beginner who's looking to get into investing and things like that? Is it to partner with someone like you guys? Because that, to me, that would be the first step. I know Ms. Moon, I know you guys, do something along the similar lines. And, I think as a potential, like, a newbie to the real estate market, of course, if real estate has always stood, the test of time. But, a lot of us don't know how to get into it. A lot of us don't know the first step,
Well, you mentioned a very good word, partnership. A lot of people don't believe in that. We had too many people who I want to own it. I want to be 100%. I want this. So that's a good step to getting into it. When you don't have the experience, you may not have all the money, you may not have all of that. We've learned through our experiences that it's a million different forms of partnerships that you could get into. I'll tell you, we've come across some unbelievable things that I'm more of a realist. You could even call it skeptic sometimes.
Right.
Skeptic.
But it's like some unbelievable things have come across our path, and I'm like, nah, it's get out of here. So
share one if you don't mind.
Okay, I'll share one. That's crazy. So I'll share two. So early on when we got into this, looking into getting into some of our first flip properties, and didn't have a lot of experience at that point, but looking to get into it, and Craigslist had kind of just came out. So not just came out, but people started getting familiar with it. So she was just looking on there for realtor business and stuff like that. And she came across a post, and she was just responding, trying to reel that investor in on some realty stuff. And then we met, and he was from out of town. He said he gonna come here and he want to meet with us, and we sound great and blah blah blah. So she came home and said, "I got this guy. He want to invest in this. He gonna pay 100%.
He ready to cut the check, baby.
Look, he gonna pay 100% for the property. He gonna pay for all the renovations, and we gonna split it 50-50." I'm like, come
He's going to be the
and
contractor.
I'm gonna be the contractor to get paid to do all the work in there. I say, come on, man. You better wear on Craigslist. Come on.
Right.
So he came to Cleveland. He came to Cleveland with the Winking Lizard. Went to Winking Lizard, sat down. After talking to him, like, I think he might be for real.
Right.
So
he got you.
So before you know it, we looking for properties, and he won't pull the trigger on none. He shoot down everything we say is a good deal. This is that, and then he pulled a few triggers. Said, "Okay, I got one. Let's do this. This is that." I'm like, "Yeah, okay."
Right.
But there was a nice property, so he cut the check. He paid for the property. He gave me the first check for us to start on the renovations and everything. I'm just like, wow, this is real. So guy that we don't know, was not of our culture, and that was shocking. But we partnered on that deal. So my company got paid on the renovation of the property, 100%. Asked no discounts, no nothing. 100% of the renovation. We split it 50-50. He put up 100% of the money. But I learned through that, and this is, we often deal with, from our community, we deal with smaller amounts of business. So we have a smaller mindset.
Right,
I was just
yeah.
going to go into that. And it put it in perspective. And my next story is larger than that, but it's put it in the same perspective. That he doesn't have time to come to Cleveland all the time and check on everything. So by partnering with us, we are his eyes and ears, because we got something on the tail end of the game as well. Not just the renovation portion. You got another check coming on this property when we flip this property. So it'll cut his profits in half by splitting it with us. But I know that y'all want the other half of that check. So y'all gonna be my eyes and ears. You're gonna make sure it goes smoothly. You're fighting to get it done because you want that check at the end.
Okay.
So, but by never meeting this guy or just off, like I say, Craigslist, it was unbelievable.
I mean, but I'm with you, because I would be skeptical too. Like, bro, like, yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Off of that deal, we made $51,000.
Nice. Okay, see,
So
she's still accounting.
that opened his eyes. Like, wow, there's
So the next story.
So
is
she
like,
had I told you so moment. Like, yeah, I brought this to the table.
So the next story is absolutely, completely unbelievable. The deal didn't go through though, but she met an investor and was dealing with him. He's from Canada. So she telling me, oh yeah, he want to buy this apartment building. It's 107 units, and this is that, and he want to partner on it with us. So I'm like, okay, well, how much is it? It was like, I think for sale, it was in foreclosure, but the bank was offering it for, I think, 1.3 million. So I'm like, okay, so we supposed to pay half of the money or whatever. She's like, we don't pay nothing. So I'm like, man, get out of here. So we dealt with this for a couple months, and then he came to town, and he's like, oh no, I'm gonna come get y'all. He picked us up in a little Nissan Sentra or something. I'm like, nah. So we went to the apartment, we viewed it and everything, 107 units, and we get there, same process. All of the empty ones, you know, Mark, I want to hire your company. We're going to hire your company, pay 100% to renovate them all, get them all ready. And we want to upgrade them. Forget this low end stuff. We want to upgrade them. As people move out, we're going to upgrade all 107 units. Your company going to get paid to do it.
Nice.
I'm like, man, so what's the catch? So no catch. In the end, he didn't want to offer the 1.3 million. He wanted to lowball them and try to keep, you know, working them from there. At the end of the day, somebody ended up getting the property. But through all of our conversations and sitting down, I found out what the catch was. It was no catch, but I found out what the reason was. Again, he doesn't have time. He got properties all over the world. He doesn't have time to keep coming to Cleveland. Okay. So if I partner with y'all and I put up all the money, y'all have a lot to gain by splitting this 50-50 with me. But I know you're going to take care of the property. I know you're going to make sure the right management crew is in there, the right employees, the right maintenance, everything.
Because you got skin in the game.
Exactly. So y'all split half the money. You're going to make sure it's done right. So, you know, I couldn't believe that he was willing to put that type of money up. We had to put up nothing, and we would gain the renovations, gain half of the profits every year. I couldn't believe, but it was unreal. And I don't even know how you met him.
Great.
Another client or something. No.
And listen, man, women can move in ways that we can't. And especially, you know what I'm saying, if you got somebody that's working on the squad, it's like, man, they get shit done in ways that you don't even want no, bro. There's no check clearing. But, you know, I think that's amazing because that's teamwork. You know what I mean? Like, it sounds like she brings the clients, you vet them, and you guys close the deal together. Mm-hmm. And I mean, like, that is kind of like an ideal situation for anybody. So, anybody out there got questions real quick while we kind of...
Yes, I do. I got a million questions.
Where's Craigslist? That's my go.
Just one or two. All right. My name is Israel. Israel Hill.
What's going on, Andrea?
I've done what... I've tried to get to where you guys are, and it was years ago, and right before the bubble burst. I had several properties, and then I was trying to go about it the best way I knew how. I had good credit at the time, and then I was upside down on some properties because I had, you know, the banks were like not loaning money. And I had three properties. I had my own property I lived in. Okay, my question don't come.
Thank you. I ain't want to say nothing.
She right. Okay.
Come on, brother.
Hey, look. All right. Okay. Quick question is, all right. After this market crash at 2008, and I'm trying to get back into this game. I want to know the best avenue of how
how to get back in.
To get back in.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing is you missed the best window. The market crashing was the best window. That's what really took off for us in real estate.
Exactly. After 2008, it was like great.
Right. So I always said this. I remember my mother always telling me the house that they bought before we was born or whatever we kind of grew up in, she paid $30,000 for. So at this time, that same house would be worth about $180,000. So exactly. I just sat here and was like, man, if we just had a time machine, I'd go buy every $30,000 property. This is that. So I always tell people when the market crashed in real estate, that created a real life time machine. Those same properties went back down to $30,000 because the bank had an abundance of foreclosed properties and they had to let them go. They can't just take a loss, so they got to get rid of them to recover some of that revenue. Nice. And it created a real life time machine.
I was buying for $30,000. Now I can get for $7,000.
Right.
And
so
I was like, oh.
So it's like at this point, the market has recovered. The market has recovered, as she mentioned. Most of the investors that came through and bought almost everything are foreign investors. So limitless money, and
my question is, going forward now, what's the best avenue to go forward now?
It's so many avenues. It's so many. Go ahead, you about to say something?
Really you need a business plan is where it kind of all starts. And that part of that business plan of what your angle and what you're trying to do. and what your needs are, because do you need cash? Do you have the money to purchase those homes now? So it's kind of like where you're at in the process. If you have no cash, then an avenue for you may be with starting with wholesaling. If you have some cash and you don't need that cash right away, right now it's more so a buy and hold market. You want to be able to buy as many properties, hold on to them, collect that rent. But if you're not in that position to do so, there's different angles, and it just starts with that business plan of kind of figuring out what your needs are and then building that plan around your needs.
Well, I'm trying to I'm building my new avenue is, I don't want to borrow anything. I don't want to borrow anything, and we're pretty
So,
cash.
to you,
We're
that's-
pretty cash, solid. We don't have to borrow much. I just don't want to borrow nothing and go for it, and that's my plan. That is my ultimate goal. To
So-
not borrow. I don't want to owe anybody anything.
So another option that you can do is like a land contract. We've purchased properties on land contract as well. We've done so many different deals, and just kind of what presents itself, a land contract. You may have to put some sort of down payment down, but you're not borrowing money, but you can pay down the principal balance of that house, and then in 2, 3, maybe even 5 years, you will own that home 100%.
So a little different. Like, that's another unbelievable way that we got into. So for everybody that doesn't understand a land contract, I always explain this the same way. If I come to you and to anybody in this room and I say, hey, let me borrow $15,000. If you're in a position to give it to me, you give it to me. You want your money back how? $15,000. You don't want it $1,000 a month. You don't want $500. You don't want $5,000. You want it all back at the same time. The problem is, in our community and our people and our budget, we need to see our money. So that's the problem. So I always use the same people as a reference. Whether you take Oprah, Jay-Z, Beyonce, if I borrow $5 million from them, they'll never see it. So if I pay it back $10,000 a month, they don't care as long as they get their $5 million back. So they got so much money that $5 million they will never see. So I don't have to hand it back in $5 million because they will never see or use that $5 million. It'll just go stack where the rest of it stacked at, so they don't need it back in one lump sum. So the thing is, with that land contract, it's a lot of rich people, like filthy rich people, that own some of these properties. Sometimes it's a bad investment deal for them, or just not the deal they were looking for. So
they're tired of tenants not paying their rent, so for them it's this headache property.
It's been a vandalized property once or twice, or certain things like that. Like I mentioned, they may be out of the country, so they can't come check on it, or bad property managers, things like that. So you have these people who say, look, I'm gonna take my losses, and you know what? I'll take $13,000 for this property that I've dumped $70,000 into. But if I can recoup something, I'm okay with that. And they will take that $13,000 in $500 a month payments. So to them, they won't see it if you hand them $70,000 or if you give them $500 a month. So
How do you find somebody like
it sounds it's a little more difficult, but that's where we have a little more access to those type of deals and people, just because of the our profession.
Hey, did y'all notice his answer? If you contact me at the office, we can definitely have that conversation.
We got another question back here, y'all. We got another question back here.
So, but that's the thing. That's the thing. They want, they might take $500 a month, like she mentioned. It may be a 2-year deal. You may only give them $1,500 down. They'll take $500 a month. It may be a 2-year contract. You pay that $500 a month, which actually you're not paying for the property. You get it on the market ASAP. You get it rented. You let the tenant buy it for you. You might have paid $1,500 for that property. You might have put $1,000 getting the rent ready real quick, and you let the tenant buy the property for you. So you now own that property free and clear for maybe $2,500, and the tenant bought it for you.
It's 2 ways to get in this business. Either you have the cash to get into this business, or you have to put in sweat equity. So if you don't have the cash, then you just have to plan on making phone calls. It might be door knocking. You have to put in that sweat equity, but there are deals out there.
Definitely.
Thank you.
I like that.
You like that?
My first question is, do you still sell pagers? I just want to get a pager from you.
upgraded to house, but if you buy a house, I give you a free patron. There we go. You get a free Nextel shirt with every purchase. And a mixtape.
Tell me you ain't got that £2 cell phone.
Do your company also help with like retail fronts or something like that?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
We do commercial, residential, everything.
Okay. All right. Well, that was my real question, but I'm gonna try to get that house because I really want that page.
Oh yeah.
Joey's house out, everybody. Joey's house.
All right, I have one question. I had a cousin that got me involved with the straw buyers, and I know you guys are familiar with those, and those like they want you to get money put up front, and they want you to front the money up front, and then you end up owing them, the banks rather. It's called the straw buyers. You guys familiar with those?
Mm-hmm.
And I got caught in one of those type of frauds and everything with a cousin of mine and everything, you know. And he got into the rug business. He was on the news and everything else, and they owed millions of dollars over the city of Cleveland and everything. And so I was wondering, do you guys know anything about what a straw buyer is? It was called straw buyers with the real estate game and everything.
Can you explain? I have no idea what that is.
Well, it's like.
I'm gonna let them do it. Yeah, she gonna explain.
Here we go. I don't know. That's fine.
So basically, there is a group of, I guess, investors out there that is willing to purchase on the back end these deals, and it just sounds like you got kind of caught in the middle of that. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Because he wanted to sell me a house, and he knew that he probably didn't have the money, but the banks came for him.
So did he pull the equity out the house once you got the house?
Yes.
Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was kind of.
I got a cousin that got caught up in that too.
Yeah, I think they're supposed to be called straw buyers.
Basically, what they did was they hit your credit to get the house. They might
Right.
they might front the down payment or whatever. The minute the house is approved, then they pull the equity out the house,
Right.
and you stuck with it. So
Yeah, I was stuck.
he got stuck with $1 million house, and that nigga only made like $1,200 a month. So,
and there's people out here like that's real estate guys out here that's out here doing that to people and everything. You know, it's fraud completely. You know, because
There's definitely a lot of fraud in this business. I mean, I've dealt with owners who, I've dealt with people who move into a house, you know, even as a tenant, and they were shipped the keys by FedEx, and they mailed off their security deposit and first month's rent for someone to come to their door, you know, 2 weeks later and say, who are you? And they
Who are
get
you
evicted.
living in my house?
Exactly.
You know, and they changed the locks. I mean, there's so much fraud, like, in this business, like any business. But I would say you need to stick to someone that's reputable. You know, we're a licensed brokerage. We help, you know, clients, investors, you know, every day.
this is my first cousin, dog.
I feel you, bro. You sound so hurt. I know your mama son.
I thought Paul was thinking of water.
She ain't thinking of the dollar.
Oh man, that dollar, right?
All right, so let me ask you this, because I had like a horrible experience when I bought my house. What advice would you give first-time home buyers? Because there's a lot of real estate agents who won't tell you the different programs that you qualify for, the anything that would save you money or prolong them getting their money. My dad was in my ear for like years, like, yo, I got these books that's gonna tell you how to save, you know, $1 million. And I'm like, man, I ain't reading them books. And I ended up getting myself in a situation where if I read those books, it would have helped me. But what advice would you give someone that's looking to purchase a home for the first time, and, you know, how to avoid just that crazy process of dealing with bad agents?
It's real simple. Call Brickhouse Realty.
Careful, 1, 2, 3, 2.
That was the perfect answer.
I mean, a lot of times, I mean, you have to look. for what, $1,500, you know, you pay to take these classes and you sit and take an exam and boom, you're licensed. So I don't want to minimize that agents aren't, you know, educated enough, you know, for this business, but let's be real, $1,500 and maybe 3 months later and you're licensed in this business. And a lot of times people get with an agent and that agent doesn't have the guidance or the experience to know what they're doing. And so even when you get licensed, you need to continue your education, you need to go to seminars, you need to learn more about this business. And a lot of times people are just taking any agent, we see on Facebook all the time, you know, who's on here or whatever. You want to make sure that you're dealing with the experienced agent. You want to know that you know, even if that agent is newer in the business, that they are working or have that support of their broker.
Which keep in mind, she mentioned, you know, you go get licensed, once you pass your test, you're a realtor. Everybody has a first deal at some point. It's your first deal you're doing. So that agent is not that experienced. You know, they don't know about the different incentives that you asked about. So it's definitely about picking a reputable agent. That's something like we do even with new agents in our company. We go with them on their first listing appointment. We go with them with their first buyers. We walk them through those, you know, situations so they do learn more. Like they don't even teach you how to write contracts, you know, and so they don't even know how to write contracts for you to, you know, write an offer on a house. They don't know how to do that. That's not something that they teach in school. It's like they teach you a little bit about, you know, housing and laws and things like that. You go take your test, if you remember it, you pass, and now you're a realtor. But you've never written a deal, a contract, or any of that. So it's definitely about picking a reputable agent, definitely an experienced agent. And, you know, you can ask for references as well.
So now, based upon your answer, with Brickhouse Realty, are you saying that, like, if I'm interested in getting into real estate, I could come to you guys and like, look, this is what I'm trying to do. You know, I'm interested in being a real estate agent. Can y'all help me out? Do y'all help with that process, or do you just kind of say, all right, well, here, you go get your license, then come back and holler at me?
No, the first thing they said, they said we looking for agents when they sit down.
We're definitely looking for agents. We have big plans for 2019. And, you know, a lot of times for me, when I worked a 9-to-5 job or a real job, as people would call it, I wasn't happy. We have 4 kids. And for me, I didn't like the fact that when I would go, I would have to go ask for permission to take off from work, you know, because my kids were having a sporting event, or, you know, or you feel guilty because your kids are sick. Real estate is a very rewarding career, and it allows the flexibility and the money to live a lifestyle that, you know, that you make you proud to be, you know, to have a family, to be able to be. Now, don't get it twisted. We work a lot. So, yeah, you might see me at one of my kids' basketball games or football games or whatever it is, but I'm probably working that evening as well.
Work hard, play hard.
Yeah. But it allows that flexibility. Working a traditional 9-to-5 job, you know, you don't have that. You can miss out on a lot with your family.
And that was like one of the first things, like when you guys came in, when I was talking about balance and finding that work-life balance. What's been some life lessons that you guys have learned throughout the process of finding a balance between, because you guys work together and you live together. So I know me, you know what I'm saying? Like I can't even like have the same phone company as somebody. Like so it's like, how have you guys found that balance and been able to kind of maintain that?
You just have to be mindful of it. I think I can be more of a workaholic, I guess, than him, and he has to often remind me that, okay, shut down the computer, you know, get off the phone. You know, I'll take phone calls. It's 10 o'clock at night. He's like, why are you taking a call? You know, at 10 o'clock at night, it might be, you know, a client or whatever, but.
And keep in mind, some of these foreign clients, it's the morning for them. So they call you at 10
Time
o'clock,
difference.
midnight, yeah.
So I for me, I have to try, remind myself that, okay, I do need to, I'm a big person on like time blocking is very, very important. And making sure and part of that time blocking that you have spending time with the family or just these days and times in between there. And to know that, you know, in the evening time, I really do need to like shut it down.
Gotcha.
And I'm big on setting like guidelines and rules. And you know, when we finally step out or we're away from the kids and we're doing something from the evening, for the evening, it's no phones involved. We're gonna take our phone with us, but I'm not gonna be on Facebook. She's not gonna be on Instagram. There's no phones involved.
How else do you get the news, my brother?
I'm gonna get it later, but it's we leave all of that at home. You know, we got our phone with us, but it's a rule. We're not on Instagram. You can't go on social media, none of that stuff. Don't check your email. You know, might not even respond to text. If we out for the night and we enjoying our time, same thing. Once we at home as a family, like I have a no technology rule at the dinner table. So, you know, most families sit like this and, you know, everywhere you go. But you can't bring a phone to the table, whether it's our kids, whether it's us or any of that. You hear your phone sitting there.
Right.
But
So, cause you gotta look, so like you can't just sit there like it's ringing for a reason.
It is what it is, but it allows us as a couple, as a family, that's our bonding time. You know, a lot of families don't even talk anymore, you know, over dinner or any of that, because everybody in their phone or they're watching TV. So I'm more of a guideline, set rules type of person. Like she said, she is more of a workaholic. Like we both work like crazy, but it's no stop to her. She don't have guidelines. She don't have an off button. You know,
Give me like 5 more minutes.
Yeah, so I have to be her off button. You know, a lot of times.
Gotcha. And I mean, that's balance. That's checks and balance, even you know within the home, because you guys seem like you guys counter each other very well. And
sometimes, you know, we call each other oil and oil. Because sometimes we can be oil and water, but I'm telling you, no matter what we doing, you know, she like, okay, we've been slipping, we're gonna get back to eating right, and this is that, and I'm like, yeah, I'm on it. We're going to the gym later at 5 o'clock, this is that, and then she'll text me, be like,
what you doing?
You wanna go to Sabi?
Exactly. Listen, man. Hey, I was just having that debate on Facebook, man. Somebody had posted, and it was like, I would be good if it wasn't for chicken wings, man. And it's like, and I don't even know if y'all have the wings here, but you know, like you might want to go ahead and try those out. But hey, but you need that though. You need somebody that's gonna, you know, tune you back in. And I mean, especially for the cheap meals, man. Like, look, I got a couple food spots. I'm gonna get y'all here too. But any more questions out there?
Yeah, I had hold on, right?
Gotta follow the microphone, people. Follow the microphone.
My bad. So my question is, what are your thoughts on like vacation rentals? Like, what are the risks? What are the benefits? Is it something good to invest in? I mean, here within the States, I hear you're talking about international and China and things like that, but that was one of the things I was looking at. I've been visiting a few places, and in my opinion, I thought it would be really great to start investing in like these homes where people like to rent they like to rent the villas and different things, and like Florida, San Antonio, these different tourists.
So the Airbnb thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the rental properties is a good market. It's a niche market. You just have to do your research up front to make sure, you know, what type of population comes to that area. If you're speaking here in Cleveland, actually, like the Airbnbs, that's becoming very popular right now and renting out the rooms. A lot of that is surprising areas, even like in Slavic Village. If you're familiar with that area, they're doing a lot of those Airbnbs, and that's working out great for folks.
I definitely would recommend it.
Another option too would be those like cabins, more towards like Huntington Valley, is another good option too.
Okay, thank you.
Nice.
My quick question was, my name is Sam, and
Go ahead, do your whole intro, Sam. Everybody here is waiting for it. Even the people who ain't even been here before already know the intro coming, Sam.
I'm calm today. I'm calm. My question was, my name is Sam, and my question was, as far as the storefront properties, I was speaking to my sister. I say, well, if I buy my first property, I want my first property to be a storefront, so that way, whatever business idea I might have, I can just live upstairs and then just have whatever business idea downstairs. What are your thoughts about that?
I think it's an excellent plan because you own in the real estate, but you got a backup plan for the real estate. So the best part about that for me is you said you want to live upstairs.
Right.
So it's not technically rent free, but it's paying for itself. Whether you put a business downstairs and that business flops, you know, you still got the property, but you're living upstairs. Right. So, you know, you can try another business and so on and so on.
Right.
So
now,
you're not dependent on just tenants at that point.
Exactly.
It's an advantage by you living there.
Right. So now, can you acquire a property like that with a land contract or no?
It just all depends on the owner. Whoever owns it, you can acquire this building on a land contract. Anything is available for a land contract. It all depends on the owner or the contract we present.
And can we go back to that real quick, man? Because I want to make sure I'm clear exactly about the land contract. Are you with the land contracts? Are those set up where if, let's say, if I met the owner of this building and say, hey, would you take $700,000 for it over 10 years? If he agrees to that, then that's all that is?
That's it. No interest, no anything.
You may have to put a down payment, which could be, I mean, it's negotiable, but it could be as small as $500, but as large as, I don't know, $10,000. So it just depends. It's just how you work the contract. You have to remember, though, you still want to present it in a way that, for that owner, that it sounds appealing to that owner. And there's several ways that you can write it in a way that is creative enough that it'll pique their interest and they'll move forward with it. As far as Sam, that was his name?
Yes, I'm sorry.
I absolutely love the fact, and I think of the storefront, / rental unit. I think a lot more people should look into that, especially if you have a business. A lot of times people start a business and they look for the storefront and they don't have, as you're building your business, you don't have the income coming in to necessarily support that. I'll give you an example. Actually, the building that we are in for our real estate brokerage is actually a mixed-use property.
Okay.
So we utilize the front part of the building for our real estate brokerage. The back half is a full, 2-story rental unit. So basically that tenant that's living in the back half of the unit pretty much pays for all of our expenses.
Okay.
So if we don't do any sales, then that tenant covers our expenses every month. So we're not stressing out, oh my goodness, we didn't do any sales.
Right.
I think more small business owners or entrepreneurs, that's a way of looking at it and doing business as like a mixed use property or something like that where there's other tenants that can cover your expenses.
Right, because my thinking was for my first, because if I get a loan for 20, 30, 40,000, whatever my income says I can get a loan for, then my thinking is I would want the property to work itself. So instead of having a business, because I want to start my own business, why not live right where my business is at? Because I seen a bar, Kurt's Getaway, and I seen somebody come downstairs like, you say I live here. I'm like, you live here? I'm like, you live here and you work here. So a light bulb went off in my head. So my property, why not, whatever property or business I own, why don't I live at the business that I'm actually trying to start?
And you can write that all off on your taxes too.
I look at that as being like, that could be an issue too, you never know. Like,
I mean, for my first business where my first startup.
I'm not talking about that. Sam.
The advantage to that too, you got one mortgage out there.
The sleaze bag.
It's not a business mortgage and a mortgage where I live or rent where I live. It's only one mortgage. So it's easier for you to handle one mortgage by living there and doing your business there.
Right.
But I definitely agree with that. But my question is, do you then put yourself in a situation where you're pressured to make sure that business is doing what it's supposed to do to pay for itself? You see what I'm saying? So instead of a tenant paying for it, you're still technically paying for it.
Well, you're saying like the example where it's a rental unit, because at any point he can move out in another tenant, or he can rent the other unit or the storefront piece of it out to someone else. Still
Okay. Still making money. Got you. Yeah.
And just to that point, kind of leading off of that, a lot of times people that's another way that you can get started investing in real estate if you don't have the funds. Traditionally, you may be able to go out and get a traditional mortgage, so maybe get a multi-family home. You live in one unit and rent the other unit out, and that other tenant is paying your mortgage payment every month.
Nice. Man, y'all got game, man. See, listen, can we get a round of applause real quick for Brickhouse Realty? They're giving y'all game, so I hope y'all taking notes and y'all writing it down. You know what I'm saying? Because, these are gems that they're going to be charging for. If y'all need some help setting that up, I'm very good at doing events.
We do charge that.
So we can work that out. We'll talk about that, that'd be our land contract between each other. But, no, this is game in a sense where other cultures, they share this amongst themselves, and you're wondering why they own the block. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we're interested in buying back the block and being able to be the masters of our own fates. We have to take advantage of situations like this and people like this and be able to lean on that, because they're giving you an opportunity to work with them and own your own future. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, understand that process and understand, you know, what type of situation we're blessed to be in right now, because this is game right here. Like, I'm learning. I don't know about y'all, but I know I have a lot of takeaways already. So, whoa, what did you do?
Right.
It's electric.
Did I do good? I'm powerful. I just want to
Jesus just
I just want to compliment y'all. Y'all like are really like he said. Y'all definitely give some great game. Dope. Definitely the first thing that come to mind. Not just the real estate stuff that y'all dropping, but I'm picking up on family vibes. I think all of that is great advice. You know, from the dinner table and everything. And before anybody forgets to drop this on us, I want to ask y'all, where can we follow you? Y'all got a website, Instagram, all of that. Because, you know, I'm not 100% ready to jump in right now because I got plenty of other stuff going on. But definitely, I'm definitely into owning my own stuff and possibly investing. So.
See, that's what I like about that, because the minute you said that, everybody put out their phone. All right, we made it.
Yeah, man. Even
my dad got a flip phone.
Yeah, we on social media everywhere. We have a website too. Our website for our brokerage is www.ohiobhr.com. So the BHR is easy to remember, Brickhouse Realty. So ohiobhr.com. We on social media. She has a Facebook page. Unfortunately, I won't be able to accept any more Facebook friends right now. But
Facebook scandals.
But you gotta do the purge, man. I do it once a month.
I do it. I gotta find time.
You know what? I tell people, like, look, man, I just need y'all to take a second, be honest with yourself. If you don't really rock with me, just go ahead and press that, my friend.
I know.
Y'all taking up space right now that's real valuable to me.
The easiest for me is when your birthday comes. So
there you go.
It reminds me it's your birthday. I don't even know who this is.
And they're like, happy birthday, unfriend, nigga. I've been looking for you.
It's the easiest way for me to clean up the list. And honestly, another thing, you know, when you see like absolute crap that I don't even want to see on my wall coming through my news feed, I get rid of that. You know, I try to do positive vibes. You know, the nonsense that come across my wall, delete. I don't even care who it is, delete. So I'm all for a good joke, but the nonsense I delete. So, but you can try. I mean, people delete me sometimes, you know. But it's I'm Mark Wilson on there, just Mark Wilson. See, there you go. Her Facebook is the same, Andrea Wilson. So Mark Wilson, Andrea Wilson on Instagram. I just got into Instagram this year. It took me a long time. I didn't want one, but I got more into it this year. Mine is Meet Mogul Mark. So Meet MOGUL Mogul Mark MARK. Hers is She's a Brick House. Is she's underscore brick house.
There you go.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I have one more question. This is my second one. Like, I work for a Jewish corporation. And like, I feel like I'm I like a sardine. They have downsized our company so small, which I can understand what they're doing. They real estate, and it's like every section they renting out in one building, and they just written out sections of just small sections of the company and everything. So I figure what I'm asking you guys is, it's like,
come on, baby, you keep it, you got it.
We they're making money like a little probably a fourth of a wall. They may charging $300 or $400 for rent of a company that
my guy does
in
that.
the same company and everything. You know what I'm saying? They're downsizing where everybody else work around them and everything, you know. So what I'm saying is, it's like, I'm a sardine, but they're making money around me and everything.
You gotta rent your desk, bro.
Oh, yeah, they're renting everything that's around me, but they're making money though. I mean, this is.
But you know what? That's the hustle right now, especially if you have a space. Like, let's say if I couldn't get a liquor license here, right? And I'm trying to be creative and use this space, then I can turn this into 20 cubicles and rent those cubicles out. You know what I mean? That's just smart, smart business.
Yeah.
So, if you're a sardine, then you got to figure out how to become the can.
I'm just saying, it's like all around. It's like any instant they'll clean up the room and rent it out, and $300 or $400 a month just for a little small space, and they already own the whole building. But I'm just saying this, as far as being smart business people, it's the way that I would do, even with a house. I would rent my basement off. That's the case to my attic.
Listen, they're doing it.
That's something that's.
You know what? I have friends that are just so happen they're Jewish, but it's like in their household though they have like 3 different incomes coming into that one house because they have like 3 different families. The brother and sister stay upstairs. The mother and father stay on the first floor. The daughter and her husband stay on the second floor. The dog and their cousins stay in the basement.
And then rent it out to them.
But think about it like this though: when you have one household divided by 4, all those expenses divided by 4. That's just smart, bro. Like we don't think like that though. Like we want to be the big guy in the house.
That's how I want to start thinking like and everything, because I'm surrounded. I feel like a sardine and everything.
Gotcha.
But they're making money.
What you're speaking on is becoming very big, not just amongst them, amongst our people too. So you take this same facility here. I can take this corner here and I may have a photographer that's just looking for somewhere to put his backdrops and do photo shoots. I have a barber who may want this corner to cut hair. He's gonna pay less to me than he may pay, $600 a month for booth rent somewhere. He wants his own private space. Right. Same thing, I may have a hairdresser here, I may have an accountant here, who doesn't do big business but looking at their own facility. It's even spots like that, like lawyers are renting, smaller end lawyers are renting those for $300 and $400 a month. But you turn this same facility that I may be able to rent for $1,500 a month, you turn it into $500 a month just by breaking it into cubicles.
Right.
Actually,
little area that you probably don't even need, but just but you making money off of because it's there.
Right. You do one restroom and you do a bunch of offices and there you go. It's smart business.
I think even bars do it. Even like restaurants. I mean, for the cooks and kitchens and everything.
There you go.
They might know. What you have, bro?
So, I guess I shouldn't ask what y'all think about rented spaces like that, but the Department of Corrections and some other programs have homes for social good. Have y'all heard anything of that? And what are some reasons why you would get into it versus not? Because they're saying that you can put maybe 2 people in a room, and they both pay like $800 a person a month.
We haven't gotten into that. We actually have a couple friends that's their niche of business. The feedback that we received on it is more so you have to have like a strong support system or team to really work that business, because a lot of times a lot of those folks that are going in those homes have some mental challenges, so you have to be prepared for that. A lot of times you have to prepare like food and meals in these homes, so you have to have a strong system and everything for that. So you just it has to be a well-oiled machine, and you just have to look at every aspect of it. And with the mental challenges, you have to have, like me being a female and not have to deal with this house, but you have a house with some men that are in there and they get to fighting or something, I wouldn't be equipped, or strong enough to maybe try to break up a fight. So you just have to, have.
So that's like a group home then, basically, right?
Yeah. It's a lot of advantages. It's not for everybody. Like she said, it has to be a well-oiled machine. What do you do when you got shifts? There got to be somebody there 24 hours a day. So, he may come the first shift, she may come the second shift, and then what happens when the third shift calls off? So you got to be prepared. You'll just have people in cut waiting, for a call shift. So you may have to do that. So you got to plan all that out. Those are the headaches that I've heard about them, things like that. Like she said, you got a woman on shift. and then you got all males that live there, and they get to fighting and different stuff. And you know, now she calling the police. Well, you know what happens in our community when you keep calling the police. Now they're ready to shut that down because that's a business. So it's some hiccups there. I heard it's been very profitable for a lot of people. We discussed it before, but never decided to pull the trigger just because of so many moving pieces and parts.
I mean, we deal with rental properties, and dealing with tenants in itself, it has its own set of challenges. So I can only imagine what really goes on, you know, with that. And that's kind of like a round the clock situation.
All right, so we're gonna break up the monotony a little bit. Do y'all mind playing a game with us real quick?
Let's do it.
All right, so look, I don't know who was here for the last time that we did Family Feud. We did Relationship Feud. And, you know, Starr is amazing at putting these games together for us. So, Starr, this is your time to take over. And I believe we won last time, so we would do, you know, we would let the ladies go ahead and, you know, so.
They kind of whooped us last time. What did we do, ladies? Like, I don't even know how we lost. We lost, though. And I think we're going to lose today. It seems like it's more men. Okay, so ladies, come on. Let's get on this side of the room. Fellas, get on the opposite side. Y'all ready?
What side you want?
All right, so ladies on the left and then fellas on the right.
Our left or your left?
Who know them ladies on the other side?
Okay. Clarity.
See, this is how we started this already. Okay,
Okay, so let me break down the game. We're
If
gonna
we
put
can
the
too,
mic-
sit closer to the front, everybody. Let's sit closer to the front.
We're gonna kind of put the mic in the middle of the floor. So I'm gonna ask the question. Whoever grabs the mic first goes first, and that's the team that goes. Now we're gonna switch it up.
Because we ain't got no buzzer. We ain't paid
We
the
ain't
extra
got no
$5.
buzzer. But who gets the answer right gets the point. If neither one of you guys get the answer right, we call another lady and another male. And whoever grabs the mic first, you play. Whoever gets the answer right, you get the point.
There you go.
Y'all kind of get it?
So we stand there like a standoff, and then boom, whoever gets it first.
Now, all of these questions and answers, these are really Googled from a game. And I kind of got the nitty-gritty ones this week. I wanted to have more fun with it. So.
It's all
But
good.
there
Convo
is
after dark.
Convo after dark. Okay,
All
are
right,
you
so we
ready?
got Wes, can you bring the mic?
No, hold on, we ain't ready yet, fellas. Let me get y'all close. Let's show some unity, fellas. Let's look strong together, man. Come on closer, man. Come on closer, fellas. Let's organize this, man. Let's look strong, man,
I'm
ladies.
gonna have more men than women.
Yeah.
What's going on? Wait a minute.
Are y'all playing tonight as well?
We coming down there.
Right, come on. Yeah, let's get this on the way. Let's go. Jay.R, you rocking tonight? You know?
Where's the mic gonna be at?
Right
Let's
here.
get this in the middle.
I'm about to say you go right now.
So somebody has to be up there.
Yeah, you
Okay, I
go
got my
right
team.
here.
My team look,
Go
they
take
look ready.
turn.
They got their ball status, they got their legs crossed, their hands. Yeah, it's like, go down.
All right, people. So let's get one male and one female up. Sam Long, we gonna lead. Sam Long, you always lead us off. So
I'm telling you today. I ain't did nothing today, man. I'm telling you. Let's go. Come on.
never too much. And we need that theme music.
Right, where's it at? Where's it at? It's definitely on YouTube.
Right.
Come on down, everybody. Hey, T.Y., you into real estate too, right?
Nah, man. This my house.
Oh, okay.
Right,
Well,
right.
You know.
Say, brother Jeff Brown into real estate right here.
Okay, Jeff, how you doing, brother?
That's the man as well.
All right.
That's Katie.
Jeff, did you take some gems away from the conversation?
I came in on the last part of it, but there was some good stuff that they gave.
Oh, we got some more ladies. Good.
Okay.
That for a person that's not an investor or that does not have the experience, they gave some good stuff.
That's what's up, man. Like I said, I have a ton of takeaways, and there's even more stuff that I'll talk to them about offline. But you know what I mean? Like, feel free once the game is over, once the show is over, to converse with them, get some contact info, share yours, and increase your network. So let's get it, Starr.
All right.
So is it a woman?
Yeah, I need a woman to come up too.
Let's get a female. Come on
Okay.
in. All right.
Okay, so let's go. So come on.
All right. Now we're gonna start this off.
Okay.
This is gonna be kind of easy for the women, so I feel bad for you guys because this is gonna be kind of easy for us. Sorry, but name, and it's 8 things in this category. So we have, know,
The top 8 is on the board.
The top 8 is on the board.
Gotcha.
Name 8 things that is in a woman's overnight bag.
That's what I'm talking about. Sam, how you on the mic?
3, 2, 1.
You gotta plug the mic. I don't know how.
That's too much weight.
I don't know how you unplug the mic. I mean,
I tried to grab it from Superwoman. I was so thirsty.
That's too much thing.
push up and pull up.
The top answer is like the most points, and then after that following it goes 200 points exactly. The
Overnight
top answer
bag.
is
Overnight
There we
bag.
go.
Overnight bag.
You got this, Sam. You got this.
3.
You got
Tampon.
That's on the board. That's on
There you
the
go.
board.
Wait a minute, which one's the number?
That's not the number 1 though.
That's what I'm talking about.
There you go. There we go. There we go. Wes. There we go.
Underwear. Absolutely, that is on the board.
Which one's the highest answer though? Because we get control of the board.
Underwear is the highest. That's the top answer.
Come on.
Okay, hold on, wait. Panties is the number 1 answer on the board, so she didn't
Underwear
get
and
that.
panties is the same thing, ain't it?
Jeez. It's all right. You try, Sam.
The next
All right, ladies
two.
got the board. So ladies got the
We're gonna keep going until we get to at least 7 answers.
Next person come up. Next lady. Come on.
Another guy, another guy, another guy, another guy.
No. Oh, did we go? Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, they got the board. Yeah. So she just gotta say something else that's in the bag.
And we do, and for this, and how we doing it is, if we get it wrong twice, then it's their turn.
Okay, cool.
2 more times. It's only 2, not 3.
Oh, y'all
Okay.
doing it like the real family.
Yeah.
Okay.
They got the board.
Name 8 things in a woman's overnight bag.
Change clothes.
That's on there. Say leggings or shorts.
It's all right. Whatever.
Right.
That's all right.
Name something that is in a woman's overnight bag. Toothbrush and toothpaste. That's on there.
Come on, man.
Why would y'all let us in the board? Y'all know we pack overnight bags. Okay.
It's on you, Andrea.
I was gonna say that.
Name something that is in a woman's overnight bag.
One more.
Perfume? Absolutely.
It's all right, fella. Yeah, this ain't looking good for us, guys. This ain't looking good at all.
Come on, I need the next lady.
Makeup.
That's not on.
That's what I'm talking about. Fellas, get ready for the steal. Fellas, get ready for the steal. All right, fellas, get ready for the steal. That was makeup.
They get one more.
Yeah, they got one more.
Hair products. Ooh, yeah.
No, brush is on the board.
Y'all got 2 more answers. Moon, it's on you.
Moon gonna miss this one. We gonna steal. We about to steal.
Fellas, get ready for the steal. Get ready for the
We
steal.
about to steal.
Name something that is in a woman's overnight bag.
No, why would you say? Why did you want me to say something?
Look, I'm about to say, no, wait a minute now.
Right, we want to steal.
Okay, hold on.
Way to go, Wes.
It ain't on there.
Right.
No, too late.
Use the
Come on, Moon.
lingerie.
They said that already.
Booyah. Thank you. Damn. Let's go, fellas. We only get one time. We get one time. We got faith in you now. You jumped up. Watch this.
Underwear is not lingerie. I just want to clear that up. That's okay, but lingerie is not underwear.
As long as we get one answer.
We get. Now you didn't huddle with nobody.
Comb or brush?
She already said brush. She already said brush, man. You was way too confident. I knew it. We jumped off the porch, man. All right.
Now let me get another man and let me get
Let's get two people up. Two people up. Let's get Mr. and Mrs. Brickhouse up there. All right. We got this, man. We got this.
Oh, I'm gonna give y'all the good category then.
Something for the fellas.
This is what is a wife biggest pet peeve in her marriage?
Oh, wait, her hand, she cheated. She put her hands. She blocked him.
This is not a pet peeve for me, but I would say
Leaving
the toilet seat up.
That's not on there.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Come on for the kill. No, you got to answer. You got to answer. Oh, okay, cool. All right, yeah.
Repeat the question.
What is a wife biggest pet peeve in her marriage?
I've never married, so I
Like what would irritate her?
You got this. You got this
Get
one.
on the side and say what would irritate her?
His friends.
Biggest
That's not on there.
Them breathers.
Snoring. He said snoring. He didn't say snoring.
No, he didn't say snoring. Cheating.
No, that's it. That's another man.
Yeah, we got it. We got it. We got it.
Jeff, go ahead. Hey,
Y'all got one strike. Y'all can only afford one
you
more.
already know. You already know, Jeff.
You got it, Jeff. You got it, Jeff.
What is a wife biggest pet peeve in her marriage?
Her biggest what?
Doing all the chores.
Letting her work too hard. That's on there.
That's what I'm talking about, fellas. That's what I'm talking about.
Let's go. Good answer. Good answer.
Good answer.
Good answer. Who next?
Come on, fellas. Let's get one more. Playboy, right there. Come on up. We got faith in you, man.
What is a wife biggest pet peeve in her marriage?
Come on.
You got this.
What would
You got
irritate her?
You're like, where should I start?
Right.
Lion.
Not your wife, just like in general.
8.
Lion cheating or leaving towards you.
You got this.
Can I just blurt out answers?
4.
We get your
Anything. Come on, throw something. Cook.
I'm cooking.
That's not on there.
I ain't know what to say. Come on, fellas. We got
Okay,
it.
so-
We got to do better.
Y'all got 2 strikes, so that get past the
You got 2 strikes?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
Hold on.
now, ladies, if you do not get this right,
We get huddle. Huddle. We get the huddle.
yeah, if you do not get this right, we do not get to play.
What you just say?
Yeah.
All right, so, all right.
You can't go up here. He's not.
I didn't see the answer. I didn't see the answer.
You lost, sir.
No.
Oh, damn.
They got 2 strikes.
Fellas, come on, fellas.
All right, ladies, come on.
All right.
Flirting. What about flirting?
Y'all ready? Okay. What is a wife's biggest pet peeve in her marriage?
Communication.
Nope.
That's on there.
Come on.
That's on there.
We don't even think about talking to y'all.
Absolutely, that's fine. Okay, let me get a guy. Let me get a woman.
All right, let's get 2 people.
We all collectively agreed upon
Let's get 2 new people. 2 new people.
We got a chance to huddle.
We weren't listening.
Let's get another fella. Let's get another. Come on. Come on up. Yep. Come on up.
What's the question?
You're too late.
I
got it.
All right.
What is something that a man does or says that will make a woman go through his phone?
You know we got this.
Take it home.
Tell them about it, Wes. Testify, Pastor. Testify, Pastor.
Right. Take a picture.
That's enough thinking. Too much thinking.
Put the phone face down.
That's on there.
That's what I'm talking about. I do it all the time.
I got ran over once for putting
We gonna play it. We gonna take it.
Oh, down.
Yeah, we playing. We playing. We playing. All right.
I'm on the next. I got it.
I don't even know the answer to that.
Repeat that answer.
What is something that a man does or says that will make his woman go through his phone?
All right. We'll make it.
3.
I'll be right back.
2.
That's not on there.
Wait a minute, because the question is kind of tricky. Like, what would I say to make her suspicious?
What would you say or what would you do to make her go through your phone?
You didn't say what would I do. What would I do?
It's something a man does.
Oh, buy new underwear.
You can't.
What? Wait, hold on. Wait. She completely rephrased the
That's
question.
not on there. That's not on there either.
She said does or says.
Y'all have one strike. I need another man.
No,
Y'all better huddle.
Ain't no huddling.
Sorry, fellas. My bad. I let us down.
No.
My bad, fellas. I really let us down.
Y'all ready?
Ain't no huddling.
Come on, y'all.
All right. Come on up.
Okay. What is something that a man might do or say that will make his woman go through his phone?
Ignore your phone.
Yeah.
That's on there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Good answer.
That's what I'm talking about.
Good answer, man. Good answer.
All right. Good answer.
Let me hang it, dog. Let me hang it, dog.
All right. Let's get one more fella. One more. Come on up.
I need another guy.
One more. We need one more.
Come on down, Jeff. Come on, Jeff. You did us good last time.
Repeat the
What is
question.
something that a man does or says that will make a woman go through
Bring
his
it
phone?
on, bro.
Lie. Tell a fib. Tell a lie.
Come on, Katie.
That's not on there.
Oh, come on. What type of women are you talking about?
It's like just no, that's not on there.
No, we still got one strike,
If
bro.
that ain't on there, you ain't talking about 2 women.
We ain't got 2 strikes.
Hold on, wait.
Thank you. It is on there. Thank you. She didn't say nothing until I looked over her shoulder.
That is actually the number 1 answer.
That's what. See, Jeff, I told you.
She couldn't see.
I got one.
Okay. What is something a man does or says that make a woman go through his phone?
I say she just a friend. She just a friend.
That's not on there. Come on, ladies, we got time to
Hey, they're good answers, though. It makes sense.
We got time to steal. We still have 1, 2, 3. We got 3 answers on the board, so we still.
Ooh, that one. Oh my God.
Hold on. We need to collaborate.
If that don't make a woman go through her phone, your phone.
Come on,
Hey, when y'all hear the answers, though, it's gonna mess y'all up, though, for real.
What was the first 2?
That too,
She's just a friend.
Come on, ladies. Come on.
It's some common sense shit, though.
What is something that
Like the
a
stupid
man
shit we
does
do.
or says that will make you go through his phone?
No,
Come on, women, come on, you're supposed to know what's gonna make you go through your man's phone. We already just said lies and cheating. We already said flipping the phone over. And we already said putting the phone on not disturb or silent, whatever.
What you got?
I ain't gonna lie, I'm kind of guilty of all of those.
Leaving the room, taking the phone call.
Nope. That ain't on there, though.
Yes, that's on there. Get on the phone.
Man, sometimes you just can't say what you need to say, you know, about everybody.
All right. Let me get a fella and let me get a lady.
Let's get two more people up here,
Don't stampede.
and then we'll go over the answers. Boy, that is crazy. Somebody did say that though. Oh, he said it, but okay, cool.
Yeah. So quit playing with it. You ain't supposed to be up there yet.
That was cheating. You can't.
I'm not even going up there.
Okay.
On this baby.
Now this has 6 answers on the board. Name 6 things that a man might bring to a woman's house if he is attempting to have sex and spice it up.
That's the same thing I did.
Hold on. I don't know where these rules came from. Where did these rules come from?
I don't know.
Hey, we established this. Hold on, let me get my swag right. Hold on.
Swag back,
now we
boy.
gotta
Ain't nobody established that.
How did you come up? There's only two people on the stage.
Come on.
There's only two people on the stage.
That a man might bring to a woman's house if he's attempting to have sex and wants to spice things up.
One. I gotta name all 6 or just one?
One.
Number 1.
Hold on, I'm trying to let y'all be quiet so I can get my answer out. The money for a phone bill. Hey, they got that $60, mama. Go ahead and pay your phone bill.
It's a gift. That's a
You
gift.
feel me? I'm fellas, $60 for that phone bill. It was on there. We got it right. Cop it up for your nigga. Cop it up for your nigga. That's the number one answer. $60. All right. Good job, Wes. That's what I'm talking about.
In the category, it say clothes, gifts, and all.
Right. And here's a little weed, mama. Smoke up.
All right, so she get a shot though. She get a shot. If your answer is higher than his, then y'all get the board.
Alcohol.
What's the question?
That's on the board.
The ladies got it. She said alcohol. All right, ladies, send the lady up.
Yeah. Damn, what's he doing? You gonna back off?
Go ahead, man.
Okay. Name something.
Everything.
A man will bring to a
All right.
woman's house if he's attempting to have sex and wants to spice things up.
Shut up.
Jimmy Coat.
Absolutely.
I ain't heard her call it Jimmy Coat in old school.
You got that Jimmy?
I'm like, you have a threesome? Who is Jimmy? Who is Jimmy? Who the hell is Jimmy? What's this nigga named Jimmy? Where he from?
No love.
That a man brings to a woman's house if he's attempting to have sex with her and wants to spice things up.
That's right.
Oh, you didn't say spice things up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I
ain't trying to come over and put spice
I
things
just
up.
heard when a man want to come out of a woman's house and have sex.
Y'all can't help her out. That's cheating. Y'all cheating.
You can holler.
Hey, this is like 90s though answers. Right. So think 90s.
Right. Jimmy hat.
Yeah, we doing 90s.
Edible things like chocolate, strawberries dipped in chocolate.
No,
Edible Jimmy hat.
Boom. You way too romantic. This is a wham bam.
Come on, we got one more, lady. One more. We can do this. Come on.
Okay.
No, she said Jimmy Coats.
Somebody named Jimmy that they jacket at their house. It was a triple fat goose
Come on,
coat.
let's keep it moving. There you go.
It was a triple fat goose coat.
All right.
Jimmy Daniels.
Name something that a man brings to a woman's house if he's attempting to have sex and he wants to spice things up.
Some good music. 90s.
Music.
That's not on the board. Okay,
It's our time.
Hey, it's kind of like, hey, hold on, wait. Hey, look, this kind of like sleaze bag though, like.
Right, she said she spiced it up for the night.
Whips and chains.
Right.
No, they got 2 already.
Y'all see, it's fellas, we going for the steal. All we need is one answer.
Hold on. Before
He got it.
Hold on, lady.
We gotta hold on.
Right. Oh. You want to move that, Jay. You want to move that. It ain't secure.
I need a fella.
Man, they keep dropping my goddamn phone, man.
Come on, y'all. I need y'all to come on.
All right, fellas, y'all ready?
Okay.
All right. We got it.
That a man brings to a woman's house if he's attempting to have sex and he wants to spice things up.
Whipped cream. He said whipped cream.
That's not on there. She just
She said edibles. She said like.
What
All right, let's go over the answers.
Okay, hold on. sudden death real quick. Let me do the
Sudden
last
death.
two.
All that.
This is gonna put 400 points on each board.
That's right.
Now,
Let me have it.
I ain't gonna even lie to you. Y'all got that
I'm gonna get let me get Sam and let me get.
We got Jeff. We got Jeff. Oh, Sam wanna go.
Let me get Sam and let me get Moon.
He said, don't send Sam up there no more.
No, I thought Sam ain't wanna go. I ain't wanna go.
Ain't you going to tell the answers to the?
I am. I'm gonna tell y'all when we done. We almost done. We got 2 things to do. I'm gonna get y'all. Then I'm gonna get the couple next, and this is gonna be it. How many times in a lifetime will a person be married?
You ain't even hear the question. You ain't even hear the. No, you can't even ask to repeat. You pulled the mic. Nah, you got to go off of what you heard.
It's only one answer to it, so it doesn't matter who grabbed it first. How many times in a lifetime will a person?
You can't repeat it. She grabbed the mic.
Don't repeat it.
Yeah.
It don't matter. It's only one answer.
Go ahead, Mom. Go ahead.
How many times a person will be married in a lifetime?
Dos.
This is the fixes. The fix is in.
Man, they stone cold cheese. All right, let's get Mr. and Mrs. Brickhouse up here real quick. Oh, I think he went to go get some drinks. All right, he went to go get some drinks. Let's get 2 more people for the last question. Last answer. Jeff, man, you've been doing this good, man. Can we get you for this last round, brother? You've been real good for us.
Y'all ready?
we appreciate you, Jeff.
Y'all ready? How long in a normal marriage? How long in the United States will a normal marriage last?
5 years. She didn't even get the mic. She didn't.
Was that it?
That was funny, man.
And the closest answer will get the point.
Let's go.
8 years.
He got it. That was
That's what. See, Jeff, that's what I'm talking about, man. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you.
All right, so look, we about to do the answers real quick, everybody.
Let's go back to the top. We said name 8 things a woman and a woman overnight bag. The top answer was pennies, and ladies, we got that. The second answer nobody got, which y'all should have, because all of us pack it. Like, what the hell is going on with y'all? A rag.
Niggas gonna be having rags.
Was toothbrush. Ladies, we got that. The fourth answer was perfume, which we got. The fifth answer was a condom, and nobody got that. Sixth answer.
I get nervous if a girl put out a
The
condom.
guys actually got this answer was a tampon. The seventh answer was a brush.
I'd appreciate it, but she a little too active.
Was the ladies who got that. A change of clothes, which would be leggings or shorts. And the last answer was a bonnet or a scarf.
Oh, bonnet.
Hell no, bonnet gets you kicked out the house. I'm sorry, I don't do that bonnet.
Right. What is something that a man does or says that will make a woman go through the show? The number one answer was lies or getting caught cheating.
Wait, we said that. Okay, that's right.
Listen, it says guys got that. Okay. Staying out late. Nobody got that. Getting a phone call late at night or going to another room. Guys got that.
I said we said going to another room.
Oh no, yeah, we got that. Late men, y'all have flipping over the phone. Guys got that. Putting his phone on do not disturb or not answer. The guys got that.
Y'all don't even know what we do.
The last answer was too many unsaved numbers. That was
That ain't even why that's unsaved. That's just.
not if he's on
Sometimes you just be busy.
Name 6 things a man brings to a woman's house if he's attempting to have sex or want to spice things up. The number one answer was condoms. Ladies, we got that. The second answer was liquor.
I said sleaze bag answers.
The third answer was massage oil.
That's an old trick from back in the day.
The fourth answer the guys got, which was a gift, which would be money or clothes, etc. The fifth answer was a porno.
I told y'all 90s answers.
They said spice things up. The sixth answer, the last answer was another woman.
She said another person.
Another whole nother person.
But y'all never said it on the